Hi, everyone. Welcome to SFTV's Graduate Virtual Open House. My name is Lisa. I'm the grad programs recruiter for all 4 of our master degree programs. I'm here with a few other great SFTV faculty and staff members. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves, please go ahead and then we'll get started.
Hi, my name is Mike Kong. I'm the graduate director for the production department, and I know not everybody likes to put on their Zoom screen, but if you could, it'd be great to see some faces, so we're not just talking into the void.
Hey.
There we go. Look at these pretty faces coming on.
And for those in the production program, just so you know, are looking just in the prod, Michael Kong is very humble. He's a Sundance Lab participant as a writer director, and his movie premiered at Sundance feature film. So I admired him for years. I got to meet him when I came to LMU. So really great. I'm Waco Lin. I'm the grad director for writing for the screen. So basically the feature screenwriting program here at LMU. But I'll also be covering for my colleague who's in class, Mike Daly, who's the graduate director of writing and producing for television. I also teach in the writing for producing television, so I know the program really well. I teach the 3rd year thesis, pre-production and production. So for those of you in the writing producing for TV area, feel free to ask me questions later on after we go through our presentation. So I know both. Welcome.
Great. Well, again, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Good afternoon, evening, night, or even super early morning, depending on where you're joining from. So thanks again for taking the time to meet us today. We'll get started soon. I just wanted to take a moment to get to know the group of participants we have today. So I see we have people who are in all different parts of their SFTV application journey. So first of all, congratulations to any admitted fall 2025 students here. I know we have some on the call, so congratulations again. We are so excited to welcome you to campus. I see we have some folks who are still working on their applications. Don't think about it, be about it. Get those applications in. We are happy to help you every step of the way. We'll share our contact information at the conclusion of the presentation. But myself, Waco, Mike, Emily, we are all here to help you complete your applications. So let's get started with the presentation. Okay, so the 4 programs that are offered under SFTV are 3 of our MFA programs. This is film and TV production, writing for the screen, and writing and producing for TV. So these are 3-year day programs. You could think of them as a similar style to undergrad, where each school year is 2 full semesters and you're in classes during the day. These are 3-year programs. So you'll have 6 semesters to complete. Then we have our Master in Entertainment Leadership and Management, also known as MELM here at LMU. This is a dual degree brought to you by the College of Film and TV and also the College of Business Administration. So this is a wonderful program for students who are interested in the entertainment aspects of business. If done on time, it could be completed in 1 year, or if you do it part-time, it could take up to 2 years. So a little shorter and different from our MFA programs. So if you haven't visited LMU yet, I strongly suggest you do. It's a beautiful campus right in the heart of LA. We're about 10 minutes away from the beach, around 20 minutes away from Hollywood, traffic depending, again, as it is Los Angeles, but right in the hub, very centrally located. Our main campus is set up in a very residential sense. It's enclosed, meaning that you're not running around a city to get to different buildings. Really nice, taken care of space. Looks like something out of a magazine. And SFTV students really get the best of both worlds. Our School of Film and TV is located on our Playa Vista campus. We have a free shuttle that goes all over LMU. One of the shuttle stops, of course, is Playa Vista. So that's only about a 10-minute ride from main campus to where the majority of your classes will be. And PBC is a really exciting spot to be in. We're in what's called the Boomerang building that has all different kinds of media offices. There's a yoga studio beneath us. There's a Blue Bottle coffee, a bunch of different eatery options. My favorite is Home State. They have the best tacos. There's probably some other Home State lovers on this call too, but it's a new, beautiful building and with state-of-the-art equipment. So a lot of grad students ask, are there housing options for grad students here? We do offer that. We have a residence hall called Playa del Oro. This is a luxury style apartment building with a fitness center, dog park, and studio, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and 3 bedroom options. So that is your campus housing option as a grad student. And yeah, if you're not familiar with Playa Vista, definitely look into it. It's a really nice neighborhood in LA, and there's a lot of stuff you could walk to from here. And again, close to the beach and close to Hollywood. So we're a small program, which is great because you get a very nice student to professor ratio. We have about an 8-to-1. And I am so proud to say this is a very exciting year to be at LMU because we are ranked number 5 by the Hollywood Reporter. Yay, top film school. And number 8 by the Wrap. We have a pretty small student body, about 250 students throughout all MFA programs. So now Mike will take it away about production.
All right, yeah. So, yeah, like I said before, I'm the graduate director for the production department, and really, the production department is what we were that the film school started on as the foundation before we became a top 5 film school, and now we've just grown, and we really like to think of this program as the nuts and bolts of actually how you make films, how you tell stories on film. And so the best way to learn how to make films is by making films. And so once you enroll in the production department, you are on set almost not every weekend, but a lot of weekends working on each other's films as well as your own. Like it says, we do about approximately 600 productions throughout the year, and those that starts from day one. We hit the ground running. One of the things, LMU is a Jesuit school, so there are certain values and traditions that come along with that, and that we really hold dear, which is like it said earlier, we like to tell stories that matter, and I think that first off really sets us apart, and our mission for social justice is really important. The other side also is the educating of the whole person, and so the way that we think of learning production is not just about some other schools you get into specialization and that's all you do. You're a cinematographer and that's all you learn, or you're an editor and that's all you learn. Here, it's about everybody that comes into our program. Actually, I think you can go on to the next slide, Lisa. Here, everybody gets the same foundation, and in the first half of the program, you're learning every aspect, which includes editing, cinematography, creative producing, directing, and so we think that it's really important, even if you aren't going to go on to become a cinematographer or a director, to understand that job, to be able to communicate with those different departments. And we think that it also lends itself to creating a more cooperative working environment, and for us, that's a big part of the program too, which is creative collaboration. So. Another thing that also sets us apart is that when you work towards your thesis projects, if you're directing fiction or nonfiction, that is your film. Other schools, I think, take ownership of the films, but we are really about supporting and trying to set you up to actually go out into the real world. And so one of those things that you want to have is a calling card, and we don't want to put any limitations on that. So it's your film, you own it, and hopefully in the 3 years that you spend here, you've also built this team of creative collaborators, whether it's a producer who's on the creative producing specialization track, or an editor and cinematographer, and you all work together, as well as across departments to the screenwriting department, and a lot of people use the actors from the theater department as well. I think you can move to the next slide. Yes. So like I said, there are specializations within this. So after your first year and a half of learning all the different aspects, you then would declare. You don't have to make a declaration about your specialization until this point, because we really do also encourage experimentation and figuring it out. Some people come in thinking, "Oh, I'm definitely a cinematographer. That's all." And then after a year and a half of experimenting and being on set and then working with actors, and then all of a sudden they're like, "No, actually, I'm a director. I really love this. Is where I shine." And then so we really want you to try out all the different aspects and see what where your strengths lie. And we don't force you into a category. We really want you to discover it. So that's kind of the overall. Did I miss anything on that in the production? That's the overall view of what we do in the production department.
Great. And before I get into the writing for screen and writing for television, one of the great MFA production alum is a filmmaker named Brian Hagelin. I'm not sure if you know of him. He won the Oscar for writing LA Confidential, wrote Mystic River, tons of other, and wrote and directed Knight's Tale. So he's one of our prominent alums from LMU, and we're really proud of that. Let me get into the writing for the screen and writing for television. I'll go to the next slide, Lisa. So writing for the screen, well, I'll start with writing for the screen first. It's a 3-year program, so it's probably very different than the other programs that you've have research and whatnot. It's different because our 3rd year is what we call the professional launch year. So I think most programs that do 2 years and you're kind of throwing into the wild and you got to figure everything out. We provide the 3rd year where we there are classes purely to hone in not just your bio, but your log lines, your soft skills. How do you talk to executives? How do you follow up? That culminates, as I think some of you have done the research probably, is our signature first pitch event, where it's kind of a speed dating format where it is honed, kind of like 4-minute pitch and 3 minutes questions and answers about your script material, and you're facing basically agents, managers, television executives, feature executives, and pretty much getting to know each other, like your personal story in conjunction to your body of work and writing. Hopefully, the goal is to get requested to have scripts to be read by them and fostering a professional relationship and also representation. And that's a goal of the program as well, that 3rd year. So we can go through the next slide. All right, so let me finish. Great, it's WPTV. Really quickly, for WP Writing for the Screen program, it is a 3-year. What happens, you come out of the program with 3 feature-length screenplays that's written in workshop. And you have 3 other classes that rewrite those 3 feature-length screenplays. So your quote-unquote thesis is your 3rd screenplay, and it's rewritten. And that kind of becomes your portfolio that you got to roll. However, there's also classes we're required to take writing the pilot, because during this time of the industry, when Mike and I came up, it's very separate, a feature or TV. However, now it's about cross-pollination. Feature writers are writing or creating television shows, staffing on TV shows. TV writers are getting into the feature side. And a great example, one of our recent alums, Evan Romansky, he's a writing for the screen student, but one of the required classes called adaptation. So he wanted to adapt from One Flew to Cuckoo's Nest, but a series that's from the point of view of the nurse, and it became Ratchet. That was co-created with Ryan Murphy, and that was set up as a direct result of our first pitch event. So from first pitch event, met his manager, and through this MFA directory that we sent out, basically in a kind of perfect storm, his mentor that we had set up through LMU, the perfect storm. So he was basically, I think, was meeting with Ryan Murphy a couple months after graduation. Of course, these are exceptions to things, but that's something to share. Now, writing and producing for television is also a 3-year program. And what's different? People are like, well, why is it 2 separate programs? And most programs have this, screenwriting and TV writing all kind of meshed together. is not only do you come out with your original pilots, and you have writers room classes where you know how to be in a room, how to give and take notes, and writing original pilots and spec TV pilots. It's one of the classes, so you know how to write pilots, and you're also required to write a feature-length screenplays workshop. Again, that cross-pollination, that's currency to the industry. The signature, and it's very different than any other program that's out there, is the third year thesis, in which I teach this pre-production and production class, is that we kind of groom that showrunner, writer showrunner, right? So there, in a year-long class, you write and produce a proof of concept or a short film. So oftentimes people take it from their pilot, they do like a 10 to 15 minute kind of version of their pilot, if you will, right? So then the idea is they hire the key department heads, they hire the director, they have the final say on casting, and then the final cut is the writer producer. It basically reflects what the television industry is about. And even if you're not a showrunner, it really gets you familiar with being on set, because a lot of staff writers, as you go up to co-producer, let's say executive producer, co-executive producer level, you're on set. Your producer titles because you're a writer producer. So you're on set to make sure that what's being shot, and you're overseeing the director in some ways, to make sure that it's reflected vision of the writer's room and the creator's room and the showrunner's vision. So that's writing producing for TV. We'll go to the next step. Slide. Oh, so first pitch. Actually, one more thing about our thesis class. We've kind of been getting a lot of great actor writers too. So one of the things we've had writer producers come in and decide they want to write and act, and they're actors coming in. So they're actually creating, just like a lot of comedians, Issa Rae, or just like any kind of a comedian you see that get on sitcoms. You notice that they're writing and producing and obviously starring in those TV shows. For the right fit, a lot of actors is becoming a good kind of a fit to do and to act in their vehicle and then write and produce that. Again, reflected the current trend going through. That's a possibility. First pitch is a signature event, our beautiful Playa Vista campus. And for those of you who haven't visited, I hope you will visit. For those admitted students, with our welcome in-person event, is that we're like right next to Meta, which is a Facebook office. We're kind of Silicon Beach. So first pitch event is basically what I talked about. We invite industry executives to come in. It's all fully catered with drinks and food. And then what happens is at the end, we print out this very fancy, you can go on the website where you could actually see a digital version of this directory. And it basically has the third years graduating, the writers. It has the bio, remember that's being workshop professionally, and the log lines or portfolio and your contact information. And the people who attend, we usually about 30 to 40 people from the industry that come in. And then you have a sit down, one-to-one, face-to-face kind of connect. And the people who attend, they get this hard copy of this directory, which is really, really impressive. And then we also send out to 500 of our current industry contact. We update it every year to make sure it's currency. People change jobs and whatnot. And it goes out digitally to 500 people in the industry. And people get representation from those or get script requests from there. And off you go to the professional world. Next slide. And here's a directory. Just talked about it, ahead of myself. Great. And then, so each year, again, digitally, if you want to check it out, it's on the website. And Story Rush, I don't know, Mike, since been talking so much, you can talk about the collaboration, because we're all, so many film schools, production's on one end, screenwriting is one end, producing is one end. But do you want to, we talk about it together if you like?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, Story Rush is another opportunity for us to kind of cross-pollinate the departments and get more creative collaboration across departments with the writers and the producers in Melm, as well as the directing students in production. And Story Rush is what I'm confused between
Oh yeah, so Story Rush is basically
Story Rush is the one we do in the
orientation, rapid orientation, yeah.
Right. So you get teamed up with different partners within the different departments, depending on whatever your specialty is, and then you're given a prompt to come up with a pitch together, and I think it's a week. Is it?
Yeah, you get a week, and then it's presented. Yeah, so we meet. So at orientation, we pair up in a team, right? So from production students to writing for the screen, writing, producing for TV, and the MELM program as well. So we're all mixed together, and you're just paired up totally random. It's almost like those 48-hour filmmaking kind of stuff, except it's 1 week. And then you come together, and the following Saturday, we come back to Playa Vista, and the team goes up, you present, people do decks, people do sizzle reels. And we don't really give you any guidelines. We give you like a prompt or something like that, and you go and you basically work together. You figure out how to work together and collaborate, and that's Story Rush. And some are really impressive, actually. Going
Yeah.
through, we have food and drinks for everyone to bond. And what's great is, Mike and I and Mike. There's two Mike. The Mike Daly, the director for the program, and Roseanne. We hope to case basically, not all directors, like for example, Mike's, production program, you're a director, maybe you're not a writer. However, maybe you want to co-write. So this, you get to say, hey, what tastes do we share similarly? How do we work together well? So it could lead to potential like second-year projects, third-year projects where the director wants to have a co-writer from writing for the screen or writing, producing for TV. And what's great for the writer is like, well, you get a finished product. You get to see what you wrote shot on screen.
Yeah. And also the other with WPTV, like I said, they sometimes do proof of concept or short film. They produce, and they will enlist directors from the directing program to come direct the pieces.
Now you don't have to pay for it, right? Because the PTV thesis, they pay for that. So, and then directors can, well, if I just want to direct, I want to learn the real world, which is directing. I mean, you could be a writer, director, auteur, but the reality is a lot of directors work on episodic television, which is working with writer producers. And then you get to direct the material, others make it into that, and that's part of your reel as you go along. So you don't have to bankroll all of your stuff. So there's opportunities like, right now in my class that I teach a third-year thesis, production, we have a bunch of LMU directors, second years too, directing those. And what great, it just looks so impressive. And that's really the spirit of collaboration here at LMU.
Yeah, and this year, for the first time, and hopefully we're going to keep being able to keep continuing. I created a scholarship grant for thesis films for specifically to encourage collaboration across departments. It's called the Nexus Scholarship. So, if you have a screenwriter from the screenwriting department and you have a producer from Melm, and you're going to put it towards your thesis project, we award a little money to help.
Yeah. And Mike came with the idea this year, first time we did it. It's really fun, more low key, right? Low key, but it's really fun. He created the filmmaker speed dating. So meaning all years, year 1 to year 3, open up to all the programs. We literally have a speed dating. We got drinks and some food to listen up. And then it was really fun. And basically everyone got to chat for like a few minutes, and we keep rotating everybody, just like, hey, what kind of movies you like? What TV shows do you like? What do you think you're looking for? Just kind of getting to know each other in a speed dating way. And then people followed up and ended up collaborating with one another after that. And we thought it was really, really successful, and people had a really good time too. It's a great social as well. Yeah. Great, next. Oh, industry mentor program. So this is in the writing for the screen and writing, producing for TV. So remember I talked about this industry mentorship. So we have an incredible alum named Melissa Blake. She's an alum from LMU. And she basically really goes through her entire contact sheet of current working professional screenwriters for television and feature. And we also help bring our kind of close connect of good, mentors. And what happens is this mentor program, the year after you graduate, so it's pretty incredible. So you actually apply. Not everyone will get a mentor, but she actually goes through applications and finds like who you are as a person and what kind of work you do. She goes a meticulous way of pairing you up, the graduating third year, and an industry professional writer. And then they're required to meet 3 times throughout the year that you graduate, when you kind of, oh my God, what do I do now? So they really offer advice. They don't have to read the script that you write. However, most end up reading the script and give notes and pass along to the industry, their colleagues, to help. So that mentorship, so remember talking about Evan Romansky of the TV series Ratchet on Netflix. So that was a result of meeting somebody at first pitch, someone from the directory contacting him, and this industry mentor. In some perfect storm, all 3 had a Ryan Murphy connection, thought was perfect. And then that got to Ryan Murphy. So that's why literally in a couple months, that became a success. Now, again, that's an exception, but oftentimes those lead to lifelong mentorship. because we all have mentors in our lives. We have people who championed us, and that was more of a kind of a set, properly vetted, right people to be professional writer mentors for the graduating screenwriters. Okay, the next one, and I think I'm done with my part. Yeah.
Yeah, so now we'll get into application details and deadlines. So typically the application deadline for those 3 MFA programs is November 15th. In some cases like this year, we will still continue to accept applications on a rolling space-by-space basis, but keep the term space-by-space in mind as this is filling up quickly. So if you are interested in applying for an MFA, we can definitely chat about it and work on your application. So the documents that we require is a $50 application fee. We need an official transcript from all institutions after high school. In order for a transcript to be deemed official, it needs to come directly from your school to us. We can accept transcripts submitted from a student. We need a personal statement, a resume, and a portfolio list. Then the prompts do depend on the program. So whether you're applying for film and TV production, writing for the screen, or writing and producing for TV, your writing samples and possible video sample topics will be different. But as a whole, we require 2 letters of recommendation from every program. And for international students, please do keep in mind that we will need to have an official evaluated copy of your transcript sent to us. So working with a service like WES or IELTS can definitely help get those to us. So now we'll talk about MELM, that Master in Entertainment Leadership and Management program that again is brought to you by us, the School of Film and TV, and also the College of Business Administration. So this program has a lot of flexibility. The core classes are equally divided between, again, the College of Business and SFTV. So you're taking an equal amount of business administration, like marketing, entrepreneurial classes like that, and film and television ones. You're able to customize this degree, so your electives can be totally SFTV focused if you'd like them to be, totally CBA focused, or a mix of both if you're equally passionate about both areas. So this is a really good degree for students who are thinking about becoming agents or talent managers. Maybe you want to work in a business function of an entertainment company or distribution studio like finance or HR. So there's a lot of options with this program. We talked about the coursework already, but the capstone projects, those are customizable too. You can take the entrepreneurial producer route or the entertainment strategy route. So now getting into events, networking, and career development. So as students at LMU, in my opinion, the best thing that's going to come to your inbox every week is SFTV This Week. That lets you know about all on-campus events, internships that are hiring, jobs that are hiring, festivals that are looking for submission. We have a full-time staff member here, Eric, who helps students get their materials into festivals. A lot of times we sponsor trips to festivals. We sent a bunch of LMU students to Sundance this year. I think our dean made a fun comment that it was great to see LMU beanies all over the slopes of Sundance. I'm still waiting to see a picture of that. That sounds cool. But yeah, there are so many different ways to get involved.
Can I add a couple more great events that we did? So in addition, Sundance, we also went to Austin Film Festival, so mostly for the Writers Conference. So we also sponsor a panel of our alums who basically went in, and our alums include from Writers for Fallout, The Bear, Yellow Jackets, and our alum from like a year and a half or 2 years ago, she staffed on Will Trent. So they all came out and spoke at the festival and really connected with current students and alums there. And if you're wondering about that kind of event, so the Dean Moore and Laura Neustadter, who is an alum, LMU alum, she's also president of Hello Sunshine, which is Reese Witherspoon's production company. So she's an executive producer of the shows like The Morning Show and I think Little Fires Everywhere. Also, we have an incredible event of screenings this year, which I'm like, this is really impressive. Professor Mike Kong brought in Todd Phillips, who's the director of The Joker and The Hangover. I think just Joker, not The Joker, right, Mike? Right. And Brian Emmett had a great conversation about his body of work. And John Chu, the director of Wicked, also brought his film Wicked to be screened here back in February. And then I brought in filmmakers Scott Beck and Brian Woods, who wrote and directed Heretic, also created a Quiet Place franchise, and just really connecting and inspiring the students. So a lot of great events and opportunities such as those is brought to LMU. Yeah, it's my little addition.
Waco. And yeah, so that email SFTV this week, it gives you a week overview of the events that are happening. So that Wicked screening, for example, you're able to click and register to show up. Also in that email, as mentioned, are links to job and internships that are open. So it really makes things convenient for students. So much news delivered to your inbox.
Great.
Okay, so alumni, I'm gonna turn this over to Mike and Waco. You guys know our alumni pretty well.
Yeah, I skipped ahead and mentioned some, but no, we started talking about those. So you see Ratchet, Atlanta, Yellow Jacket. The writer John Wick 3 and 4 is also from here. We also have great DPs. If you like those, the late John Bailey, a cinematographer, was also LMU alum, but he did, if you like Groundhog Day, he DP'd Groundhog Day, Into the Line of Fire, tons of other, I don't have all the names in my mind, but a really incredible cinematographer who's also an alum of LMU. Swagger, Apple TV, Rebecca Murga, the one who's Stefan Wiltron, she actually got staffed Apple TV show Swagger while she was a student here, a second year. So it's very incredible. The director of Francis Lawrence of Hunger Games production, I think directed 4 of those Hunger Games movies as well. Oh, Barbara Broccoli, who's also an alum. So if you heard of the James Bond franchise, they produced, Barbara Broccoli produced No Time to Die, and quite the last few James Bond movies. And she also donated generously a movie theater just during pandemic. It was built when we came back, the Broccoli Theater, and thus on campus, our main campus. Mike, do you have anything to add?
You're so much better with remembering all the names, but yeah, we have a ton of.
It goes on. There's so many. There's too many to go through. You know.
But yeah, as the slide shows, there's we have so many that date back. SE producer SE how come I can't remember her last name?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about, right, Rico?
Like which producer?
Essie Brown.
Oh, Effie Brown, yes, Effie Brown. So I know right now we're kind of staying on Hollywood production, but we have incredible independent film producers like Effie Brown from Dear White People, Real Women Have Curves, and there's a filmmaker named Tony Bui. Basically, I'm not sure if people watch the classic, but he's like the only filmmaker to win 3 of the major Sundance prizes. He did a movie called 3 Seasons. He's also an alum as well. And this year, just this year alone, our MFA alums were nominated for WGA, the Writers Guild of America Awards for The Bear, Atlanta, and Abbott Elementary. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. Next, the next slide.
Okay.
There we go.
That wraps up this portion of the presentation. Just I wanted to throw in a few things as we went through this. I was remembering, no, you were supposed to say that, but you didn't. So I just wanted to give a reminder. I know we have some people who are interested in applying for MELM, that Master's in Entertainment Leadership. As an FYI, that application is open until May 31st, so still lots of time to apply. It's a bit less cumbersome than the MFA application. So the documents we need is a resume, personal statement, a video submission. There are 2 topics to pick from, 2 letters of recommendation, and of course that official transcript and a possible interview. As a grad student as a whole at LMU, we have a lot of student orgs just focused around grad students. SFTV is only one of the 7 colleges that offer grad programs here. So an organization like GSLMU LMU, Grad Student Union, LMU is a good way to make friends throughout all different programs, especially if you're coming from far away. This org does a great job of planning events for holidays. I know they had a really fun Halloween party last semester, and I think some kind of Christmas ball extravaganza type thing this past winter. So it's a nice way to make friends throughout all different grad programs. So thank you for joining. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. We have about 5 current MFA